Okay, so what we want to do now is combine the new hookup with the old one. So what I did was I basically just cut and stripped all the wires from the new harness and the old harness, and now I'm just going to match them up, put some solder and heat shrink on them, and then they'll be connected together. And we'll use the new end, which we know goes with this monitor, with the old wires. Okay, here's a wire from our new harness. Here's a wire from our old harness. They're both green. All I'm going to do is twist the ends so they solder up nicely. Put a piece of heat shrink on. It's very important that you do that step before you solder this. Okay, I'm going to use a method that I learned in the book by Tori. Don't twist them together like this. Twist them right next to each other and wind them really tight. So when you get through, it looks real straight like that. No wires sticking out, no big lumps or anything. Then I'm going to put just a little bit of solder on here. That's what I call painting the wires. I'm just kind of spreading it out over that wire and painting it kind of silver. Then we're going to push our heat shrink back over to the point where there's no bare wires exposed. Then I'll grab the heat gun, let it warm up just a second. Solder that on there. Sometimes I'll kind of pinch the ends here. They'll be a little warm, but make sure that's why it's called heat shrink. It shrinks up just like that. Looks good when you get done. Makes for a nice professional looking job too. We'll repeat this process until we have all the wires matched back up. Okay, now that we've wired in this, we're going to plug in. This is the video coming from the game. I'm just going to pop this where it goes. There. Now the next thing we have to look at is to make sure that the power cord coming from our game matches up with this game's current power cord. Okay, now we found the AC wire coming in. This is coming from the monitor. As you can see, the problem is they don't match up. You have two wires here, but this is like a 6-pin connector. This is a 2-pin connector. Fortunately, most games use this, and I bought this female end and pins from Bob Roberts, and we're just going to wire this into here. So real quickly, nippy cutters. We're just going to cut this connector off, and we're going to save it because you never know when it could come in handy on another project. This thing right here on this monitor, it's like a degauss thing. You can leave it on there, take it off. I don't really see a big necessity in it. But since it's on there, I'll leave it. Now I'll use my crimping tool, which looks like this. Now we'll go back to the little Indian and the TP. There's the TP. TP stand upright. Otherwise they hold a lot of water. We got our TP set up like that. We're going to we're going to twist these. Stick that end in there. Squeeze it really tight once. Going to turn it sideways. Squeeze again. Makes for a super good connection. Again, the wire being our Indian. Going to make the little TP. TPs go upright and they go right at the end of this thing. I want to make sure that that's flush right there on that end. Put that in there, squeeze once, turn sideways, put it up in the front tooth, get it again. That's all that involves. Now we're just going to push them up inside the connector. Running AC power up there. Should hear or feel a little snap, and they shouldn't easily pull out. So there's that in. Now we can hook up the power from the game like that, and it looks great. Well, look at this. It looks great now. It wasn't without a few bumps in the road. The first thing that we noticed when we plugged it in was it kind of had a scrambled or out of sync screen that looked like this. To fix that, we knew it had to be in the wiring, and the wiring we knew was different on both monitors. This monitor actually had 2 sync wires. The old one just had 1. So what we did was we combined the 2 wires coming from here into that 1 wire, and then it synced up. Now it did need a little bit of adjusting. Every monitor is going to be different. The next thing we noticed was it was in sync, but it was definitely out of hold. So all we did was do a little bit of vertical hold adjustment. Then we adjusted the size and everything, the colors and brightness just a little bit. Even though this monitor looked great in the game we took it out of, this is still a different machine with different wiring, different setup. So we did have to adjust it some. But as you can see, the end result is a great looking monitor. And now my MAME is ready for a Halloween party coming up soon. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching today. I hope that you learned a little bit about installing a monitor. They're all different, so you may run into some obstacles or something that we didn't show in this video. But by all means, just call or email or write us, contact us, and we'll help you out any way that we can. Thanks again for watching Arcade Repair Tips video series, now in high def.